Okay, we should be live. I'm just gonna jump right into it here. So we currently have two bugs to deal with, one which is major and one which is minor. We've identified the cause of the major bug. Um, and the minor bug is completely understandable. It just needs to be fixed. So uh, I think, let me look at the sprite info here for this guy. We'll start with the minor bug. I think we want to do one of these. Copy and paste. Okay, so if we do this, we just add the complete cooldown to the end. That might just do it. Okay, no, we need to make some adjustment to the cooldown timer itself. Okay. So the cooldown timer system, we maybe need to redo that anyway. Or we do need to redo that anyway. So we probably don't worry about this any further. I think having the last frame there to reset to 0 is good though. So if we go to, we'll have to test clicking it multiple times though. Because if it remembers what frame it was on, then it might double up on the green. So yeah. Oh, this is set to 13 FPS. If we set this to 14, what does that do for us? It literally might just be the FPS. I don't know if I need to set the cooldown timer differently though. We shouldn't need to, because the cooldown timer is separate from the image. Okay, yeah, so the gets back to green. Okay, no, that works perfectly, it seems. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the second one never goes on cooldown. That's the major bug. But we understand why that happens. Okay, cool. So yeah, that works. All we had to do is just change the FPS on the sprite and add an extra frame. So that's the minor bug resolved already in the first minute. Well, first 3 minutes of things here. So the major bug now. So the major bug comes from the attack buttons. When attack is duplicated, that messes with the cooldowns. And the problem here, the fundamental issue, is associating the cooldowns with the attacks, with the buttons specifically, because the buttons, there's more buttons than there are attacks. Wait. Oh, is it on the cool? I put it on the cooldown thing itself. Yeah, so it's not even the button; it's the cooldown marker. Image speed, name, and timer. If global cooldown. Yeah. Wait, what was the difference with this? Oh, I think this is just a leftover thing. Yeah, let's just kill that. I think I made that with the intention of making a fix to this using that, but it's completely unnecessary. Okay, so fundamentally the issue here is every step both of these are updating. So let's sit here. Let's take a moment to read through everything that happens in this box of code. Make sure. Let's think through the fix before we implement it. So if this is saying, let's put comments in. If attack is on CD. Timer plus equals 1 over room speed. So every tick, the timer is incrementing by... Essentially, this is saying... this is just 1 per second. But it's fractional. Right, and then the image speed is set to 1 over the cooldown. Self-explanatory. So this is setting frame rate. Setting frame rate in seconds. Is that the way to think about it? The cooldown is 5 seconds. The image speed becomes 1/5. Yeah, and the default is 1 second, so then it becomes 5 seconds. Setting the image speed to a fractional value plays it slower. Annotating this is probably useful in other ways when I come back to making anything else that has animations. Anyway, if timer equals cooldown, this is simply check if off CD. Yeah, so here's where the glitch is technically. Well, it's not even a glitch. This is where the bug arises. Better to call it a bug than a glitch, because a glitch implies unintended behavior, and a bug implies you made a mistake. And this is very much an I made a mistake moment. So the debug messages don't matter. Reset the cooldown. Okay, I kicked up some dust in the apartment before stream, so I might be sneezing a little bit here early on. I'll try to mute him. It's cleaned up my shelf behind me. It's gotten a little dusty. Current CD equals 0. So this is modifying... Interesting. I don't remember if I started fixing this or what. So we're modifying this global PC.cooldowns value. And we're setting this between a non-zero and a 0 value. So this is probably set as being on cooldown by the attack button. I just want to see what I'm doing there exactly again. Cooldown is at 0. Sure. We put in some extra like checks here that were unneeded as a potential bug fix if it didn't work. I'm not going to remove them though. Might catch something later. Which is maybe not the best because like you might want to maybe it's the resolve attack function that does that actually. Because you might want to actually, catch these errors and fix the proper errors instead of just accounting for them in another layer of code, but I'm not going to change it. Hey, War Beetle, how's it going? So I just want to make sure I know what I'm setting the cooldown to. Okay, global.pc cooldown, attack name is set to whatever the cooldown value for the attack is. Yeah, so it switches between whatever cooldown value is. So we can use that as a timer. We can increment that down. Right now it's switching between whatever the full value is in 0. So I should get a sheet of paper out and start taking some notes here for this bug fix. Let me find like an electrical bill or something. Those are perfect for taking notes on. How about the back of an envelope? There we go. Let me clear my nose. It'll probably be a occasional cycle of sneezes and nose clearing until the dust settles, but shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so global.pc.cooldowns name equals either the CD or 0. So we need to add a step. We need to add some sort of global cooldown tracker function. All right, well, thanks for stopping by. Have a good rest. So if we add a global cooldown step thing, like I could do, so we could, of course, just put it like an enemy cooldown tracker in the sprite for the player and the enemy creature, but it's probably better just to like run it in the background somewhere. Maybe the layout? We already have a step here. This is where the stamina tracking happens. Okay, so thinking strategically, programming wise, is there any benefit to combining the stamina adjustments and the cooldowns into the same object versus putting them in separate objects? Probably the best way to do it is to consolidate it in as few objects as possible, just for housekeeping, if nothing else, I would say. So I think we just put the cooldowns in here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go here. We're going to go to the cooldown object. We're going to copy this code over. We need to replicate this functionality, but we need to embed it in a singular object instead of the cooldown buttons that are, or the cooldown trackers that are duplicated. But the functionality is perfect. It just doesn't work for anything that's got more than one button. So let's see. So currently, starting from the top here, name 2 is not defined. Let's put a few more breaks in here so we know where we're at. And we need to do this for each potential attack. So I believe we have that information stored. Am I generating that? Yeah, I'm generating that under lobby layout, which is kind of awkward. It's as fine a place as any to do it, I suppose. I don't. We could probably just query this this data structure, right? Directly. I'm gonna have to look at the syntax for that. So we do like a for loop or something. Oh, I also gonna keep a quick eye on Discord messages during the stream in case anything comes up, but it shouldn't matter. I'll also should check work messages. Okay, great. It's just a public thing. Huge. Okay, that's not consequential. Looping through structs. Perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. The basic book line for looping through a struct. Keys equals variable struct dot get names. Okay. This works, what I'm looking at here, but maybe there's a better approach that's more readable. Let's what are we also already storing here? So we've got the attack slots. We've got the cooldowns. That's it. Okay. It might actually just be perfectly fine to just add like an attack list. Let's just do that. I think we don't need some elaborate loop or key fetch thing or anything. Because we're already going to be updating this data structure outside of the combat system whenever like your dino friend learns new attacks or whatever, so yes. Um right. I'm using Pythonic syntax here. Which is always my default. It doesn't hurt to start in Python though, you know? It's a good way to like initially wait. Wait, how do I just define an array in GameMaker? Because I shouldn't need to use a struct for this. The struct is like a dictionary. Why am I arrays? Wait, why did that throw an error? I don't understand. That should have been fine. Because arrays are Pythonic. I'm missing a comma. Classic. Shit. Hey Connor, how's it going? Okay, why I'm also these are currently variable labels because they were previously. This is the other piece missing, of course, for the other syntax error. Boo boo boo. I'm gonna do dumb shit always at the start of every stream while I get back in the kick of programming, because I only do this once a week currently, which makes it more like, if I did this every night, I'd probably just pick it up and go. But doing it once a week gives me time to forget things, which is not great. Okay. No errors being flagged here. So now we just have this attack list we query. So if we go back to the layout object, we're already doing some step stuff. So we should be able to do this for name in. Is in not the thing? Okay, that's like Pythonic syntax, so that doesn't quite work. Oops, I clicked on a different thing. Okay, for looping an array. Are you saying there's a delay? This was a problem we had yesterday. I'm not sure if you mentioned this yesterday or somebody else did. Okay. So it looks like yeah, we need to loop by getting the length of the array. We can't just Pythonically for thing an array. So we do variable L array length of global dot PC dot should be attack list, yeah. So this will query the length of our attack list. And then the apparently this works. I'm just gonna copy paste this syntax. And then I'm gonna think about it. So I starts at 0. I goes as less than 1. What does the double plus I mean? Here's what we'll do. We'll do this. In the interest of understanding the syntax, we'll do some science. We'll comment out all this shit. Oops. And we'll add a debug message so that we can understand precisely what is happening here. Debug message. Presumably I could just do I. Okay. Charge, kick, devour, headbutt, paralytic bite, threat display. It should be 6. I is throwing 0 through 5. Perfect. Yeah, so this is just starting from 0 up until the point while I is less than L. Add 1, I guess. I don't know why plus I is like I plus 1, but it is. Maybe I should understand the logic behind that more. It might, you know, tell me more about this, how the syntax works in GameMaker. This could like reveal hidden knowledge to me, deep lore. I returns the value, then increments it. Where I plus I increments the value and then returns it. Ah, I get it. Yeah, so I guess that's just this. Yeah, there's no deeper insight here. That's just how the syntax works. Fine. Whatever. This does what we need it to, though. So then we should be able to fetch a name. Name2 equals global. Actually, let's make sure this is correct. Because I don't remember if the array querying in GameMaker is Pythonic or not. Global.pc.attack list bracket I bracket question mark. It's easier to just test than it is to Google. Yep, that is. So the Pythonic syntax works for the array query. Good to know. Okay. So this retrieves our names for each attack. So once we have the name, the rest of this kind of falls into place. So yeah, we need if global. I think so. Yeah, let's do. Oh, I was also thinking about doing like some Monte Carlo simulations of timing and like um accuracy checks to make sure the results are what I expect them to be, so that we don't get a Pokemon Red and Blue 1 in 256 miss whatever glitch or something, and that the cooldowns in game reflect the real passage of time with the clock. Okay, so if the value is greater than 0, then we take this. So we should be able to just do this and then do minus equals 1 over room speed every tick. So if it's cooldown, yeah. So if the cooldown is 5 seconds, 1 over room speed would be 1 over 60 for a 60 FPS room. And that's also the tick rate. So then that means that it's synced with seconds. So it'll reach 0 after 5 seconds. Image speed is irrelevant here. So this does not apply because this is not a sprite, or does not have an associated sprite. We need this. This is the code that we'll need to add back or fix up for the cooldown buttons to display correctly, which should be trivial. Okay, if timer is cooldown, so if we do, yeah, so we just want to do if this, if the current cooldown is equal to the maximum cooldown. Now, do we want this in this spot? So let's think about this, right? Okay, well, first off, we're debating if we're ending correctly on a 1/60th of a second, and it would be applied equally to both you and the opponent, so there'd be really no tangible benefit. It's just that technically the cooldowns would be off by 1/60th of a second. I'd kind of like to do it right because I'm like that. So if so you click the attack button, the first tick happens, right? The attack puts it on like a 5, right? And then the first tick after attacking happens. We hit this check now. We find that the PC cooldown is, oops, there's a extra slash here, accidentally. What's the syntax error here? Missing a, how are you? It's here. Am I missing unexpected? Oh, because this if statement's hanging out here. Yeah, never mind. Yep, no, that's fine. This should just fix the error for our own sanity check. Yeah. Okay. Why is there a little? Why is it mad about L? Just because it's like Ingets's naming? Who gives a fuck? Who cares, man? All right. I mean, it matters maybe, but I'm gonna keep my bad habits thriving. So yeah, sorry. Cooldown is set to 5. So if it's a 5-second cooldown, cooldown is set to 5. Triggers the if statement. The cooldown value is now greater than 0. We tick it down immediately from 5 to 4.9, I guess we'll say is the example. Wait. No, because this was originally counting up, so this should just be a 0 check. I think this should be on a different tick, right? This if check should go separately before the other one. It doesn't matter that much yet, so let's write out the rest of the function and make sure this remains true. Let's just put a little note here. Move up, question mark. Okay, so we've done if timer, check if off CD, set the timer to 0. That doesn't matter. Instead, we want to do... Do we do anything? Wait, I don't think this matters. I don't think this check is relevant anyway, because we're not using a separate timer. We're adjusting the cooldown value directly now. So this, I think this check is completely incidental. Yeah, wait, this is way better syntax. Because we're not running a separate timer. We're not running a timer to adjust the cooldown array. We're just running the cooldown array as a timer natively. That's, like, superior. None of this matters. The rest of this doesn't matter either. Because the rest of this, yeah, none of this matters. Okay, well that's pretty simple actually. This is just objectively better code than what I was doing before anyway. So then we just want to duplicate this for the enemy attacker. Let's clear the reference code out of here so we're not polluting our stuff with any excess stuff. So this should just simply be put en everywhere there's a PC. Syntax is the same otherwise. I do wish I didn't have to escape out of that pop-up, but whatever. En, this should be good. We did not give the enemy an attack list, though, so we got to do that. So he has snap, death roll, fish hook with the capital but without the space, tail slap, tail salp, nope, that's bad, tail slap. We'll know pretty quickly if there's an error in any of these. Shake off. And that's it for him, right? He's got 5 attacks. 5 attacks, but in 8 slots. Yeah. He's got less actions overall, but they're more flexible by design. Okay, that's good. Data structure is adjusted. If we go into the cooldown button here now, so the name is known. So if this is greater than 0, it is on cooldown. The timer doesn't matter. Image speed is set to whatever the cooldown value is. We know from running this previously that we don't care that like this stepwise looping or whatever, it doesn't matter. The image speed is always going to be set to a certain value, and it's always going to keep going through the image. So none of this should matter. This is all code that's been moved over, or it doesn't matter at all now. So yeah, none of this is relevant. Then if global cooldown name to is 0, we just set image speed to 0. Should be it. That should be the bug fixed. So first check, malformed assignment statement, lobby layout. I missed the comma again. Great, cool, awesome. I always forget the struct comma. Okay, so game does not crash. Let's just, first things first, let's test the bug. So the bug is threat display. Threat display goes off cooldown. I can already tell the bug is fixed because the cooldown is working properly. That's sick. Okay, so they're synchronized. Cool. Charge does not crash the game. Kick does not crash the game. Devour does not crash the game. I have no, I have stamina, I'm just out of range. Headbutt does not crash the game. Paralytic Bite does not crash the game. Cooking with gas. Boom, boom. Fuck them up. Kill them. Kill them. Kick them to death. Come on, do it. Yeah, I'm out of stamina. Okay, we got him. We need a you win screen. But, it's fine. A you win screen is not necessary for this stage of development. So cooldowns are fixed. Okay, the bugs from last week are fixed. It took actually 30 minutes to implement this, which is shocking. But once I get in the zone of doing stuff, time flies and I don't recognize the passage of time. Okay, let's actually pop back into the battle for a second. Let's think about what we want to do next. So we've implemented, we have attack ranges, accuracy checks. Do we implement crits? Pop-up information would be good. Hit chance, damage, that kind of stuff. Let's, I'm going to take a quick look at the attack function first. We have implemented hit chance, damage randomization, crit chance. We've implemented drains. And that's it. Have we implemented crits? Or did we just put in the crit check? Crit mod. D-dam. Damage randomization times damage. Attacker damage plus damage. Or defender. I don't think we implemented the crit damage. I think we just implemented a dice roll for crit, but it looks to me, I don't see it going anywhere, right? Hold on. Crit mod. Crit mod 1, if crit 2, less than crit chance, crit mod 1.5. Yeah, so this should just be crit mod star damage randomization. Okay, we just implemented crits. We're finished implementing it technically. Attacker's player, if attacker's enemy. And the cooldowns. The movement. Oh yeah, we had attack movement in. So there's that. And then the kill check. Victory death screens. We could set these up so that it's just simply if you get the kill, you go to the victory screen. If the opponent gets the kill, you go to the not the death screen, but the fail screen. Loss screen. Okay. Cool. So yes, we need more information displayed in the battle. So, how do we want to do that? Maybe okay, let's look let's just search some examples maybe. Game maker function displays text. Could we just implement this? Call a function that draws text. Regular draw events draw in a room space at the current depth layer. They can be called 8 times. Draw GUI events draw in screen space. Post draw, yeah, I don't. Sure. This doesn't particularly mean much to me. Let's just fuck around. That's the way I like to do things. I'm much more of a just do it and see what happens programmer than a read and understand the programmer. Is draw text native? Yes. So, in theory, if this just worked, we would see this pop up when we click this. I don't see nothing nowhere, do you? Okay, so that doesn't... Yeah. I mean, it could be buried. I don't know where 200 is. Let's put it at 500, 500. 200 probably is not buried, though. I assume it's just not going to work, because that was the whole point of the thread. Yeah. Okay, so... Draw text. Let's understand this function. You can draw any string at any position within the room. To combine strings, yada, 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 yada. This is very simple. Oh, I understand. Because it's not... Yes. I think I understand. It's because this needs to be connected to some sort of timing, right? Yeah, what is the best way to draw a text? This thread is not very useful. Yeah, I would ideally I would just like to be able to spit text out on the screen from anywhere without having to like fuck around with draws too much. But that might not be an option because of how this works. Okay, so I understand. So yeah, what we would need to do is somehow like have a draw event in a script, in a function. How would this work? Draw functions that either go in the draw events or a targeted surface. How does a draw event work? Draw events are like step events and that they run once per frame. Sure. Okay. Uh, okay. There's no point in leaving this here. So then the only question... Oh, but we have the attack animation event. Image speed, 1 over anim time. So we're creating this attack anim. Okay, I see. I could see it. I know what to do. Where do I call this though? That's the question. Is it called here? Resolve attack. Name to player. Draw stat? Logically, you would think I called it from attack somewhere. This is just dictating the changes in sprite index based on positioning. I would have thought it had been here, but it doesn't seem to be. The only other option would have it to be under the function. String replace name, check the distances, resolve the functions. Yeah, these are simple. Unless I put it under like fucking layout. If it's under layout, that's like a goofy place to put it. So the steps are checking if, yeah, increment, the alarm is ending the timer, draw the attacks. Yeah, this is all mostly, this is layup and timing, layout and timing. Attacks, cooldowns, generation, yeah. It's gotta be in this attack script, right? I just didn't see it. Go to lobby, text, name, player, crit mod, animation. Oh, here, Vars, anim, instance, create death attack. Yeah, Vars, okay. Great. Yes. So what we do is we take this, copy this, we're gonna move this down here, because the animation should still play before seeing if you kill the bison Spinosaurus thing. Are you saying like the idea that Spinosaurus has a hump instead of a sail? As far as I understand, there is no scientific evidence that that would be true, and good scientific evidence that it's not true. Because if you have a bison style hump on an animal, there should be like muscle attachment sites on the bones that are not present in Spinosaurus. But they are present in Concavinator, as I understand. So a humped Concavinator is a thing, but a humped Spinosaurus is not. But again, I am not a paleontologist. This is what I have heard. Okay, so so what do we want here inside this? We want to know if we hit. Did we hit? Did we crit? What we do for damage? That's too long. How about just damage value? Did we hit? Did we crit? Good question, actually. I don't know the status of Acrocanthosaurus. That's a really interesting one to consider. I saw a discussion about the Spinosaurus thing that you're describing somewhere, and Concavinator came up in that discussion, but nobody brought up Acro. Looks like you might have some Wikipedia reading to do. We should remember that we need commas in here because I will forget. Okay, so what other things? Drains. Did we crit? Did we crit? Did we drain? Did we hit? Did we quit? Crit? Did we drain? Did we quit? We don't need an external feedback for cooldown because we have that in the UI. Yeah, JWE had more of a hump, and I've also seen it as more of a spine in a lot of places. I just don't have any idea which one's true. Like JWE also has humped Tyrannosaurus, and I feel like I remember hearing that there's no evidence for humped Tyrannosaurus. That Tyrannosaurus was like definitely a skin sail. So we can't trust that Frontier had any logic when they did that to Acro. Although I would not be surprised because I mean the Urano is like a very big sale, right? Relatively speaking, compared to Acro at least. So I can kind of buy that might be the case. Um Whereas, you know, wait, did I say my full thing? Dude, I just lost my train of thought. Urano's got a big spine protrusion. Acro's got a small spine protrusion. Big one feels more like sail. Small one feels more plausible as a hump. That's my thought. I have articulated it. We might want to, yeah, we probably want to do feedback for whether or not we've applied a status effect. So did we hit, did we crit, did we drain? Why did this one, oh, because this is all syntax error, of course, yes. Did we status? And then we're going to go ahead and take these. Actually, these should just query them. These should just refer to themselves right now. And then we just assign the value to the internal variable, and then they're moved to the structure here at the end. And that's perfect. And then the syntax is the same everywhere. We know what we're talking about. And then we'll do these. If these have a non-zero value, then we know they were updated, and then we'll display them for the player. That way they know what their attack did. Damage value. So then we want to do, did I copy these already? I think I did. Oh no, these need to be defined inside the function. Damn it. I only copied the one. I should have copied these before I added the other text to them, but it's not a big deal. So what we're going to just do is we're just going to set all of these to be equal 0. We're going to use equal 0 as both a number and as a negative condition, and then just format the code to acknowledge it in the same way for every single one. Hey, Fun Time Fred Boy, how's it going? I'm going to have to be right back real quick. We're making a dinosaur game. Let me show it to you real quick before I go AFK. This is our dinosaur fighting game. It's going to be a dinosaur like breeding, raising, and fighting game. So you're going to clone back dinosaurs, raise them up to fight in the arena. And then we got a bunch of like crude placeholder-y, animation-y things and stuff here. And that's how it works. We're currently working on adding attack functionality. Status effects is the next goal, probably, to start adding like whatever additional status effects we need for the 2 demo creatures here. And then well, that'll be the goal after we do the number feedback here for like the attack damage and stuff. Like the attack damage works, but you have to do the math up here to see how much your attack did. It'd be better if you knew. So yeah. How about I just repeat this and then I go AFK. Kill him, kick him to death, quick, go, kick him, kick him, kick him, kick him, kick him. We didn't get the kill, we ran out of time. Alright. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. Um, like it looks very basic and simplistic, but I'm very happy with what I've been able to achieve, in the actual code here. Um, so I'm pretty happy with it. Like my potential goal here is if I really like what I've done, if I think it could be a real game, then I like look into the idea of hiring an artist of some kind to actually make like good animations and sprites for whatever art style the game ends up having. But I want to have a pretty I want to have like a full demo before I do that because I've never actually like published a video game. I've got some other like vertical slice demos from the past, um, but nothing like fully finished. Even as a demo, nothing fully finished. Like I came close on one, um, and I've never even like gone into looking at publishing anything. Never been in the position to do it. So, but it interests me. I would like to be able to say I had published a video game, even if it doesn't make any money. Just nice to be able to say you've done that. But we've got a long way to go before we start talking about publishing. Right now, my ultimate goal, like my long-term goal here for like this is a stream series, is to get a full vertical slice of the game. So fully implement our two demo dinosaurs. Um, maybe even more than just two. Maybe we implement a full tournament bracket and like do kind of a limited duration training session thing so that like the demo will also show how the raising mechanics work. Um, and the demo should cover essentially every real feature that will be in the game, with the exception of like the breeding mechanics, because those would require multiple different like animals and stuff, and like the DNA acquisition mechanics, how those are going to work, which is going to be like a multi-layered thing. Um, and there's like I have like ideas for mechanics in the game that might not even necessarily need to be part of an actual like launch product, right? Like hybrids, for instance. If we want to put hybrids in this game, uh, they slot in very cleanly. I think hybrids actually probably should be a core feature of the game, but I don't think we need to do them for a long time. I think this is the type of game that could launch in early access without hybrids, and then they could be a feature that added later. Especially like I have ideas on how I'd want to do hybrids, and it would require some work, like artistic work. So I think it's probably also strategically a good thing to put that off. Okay, so let's focus on getting the feedback here for these functions, for these output values. Functions is a very specific thing, so I shouldn't call them that. So hit chance, if hit chance of attacker. Yeah, so we do, let's just go here. Did we hit? So we'll just do, did we hit as equals 1? Basic true false logic, right? Did we hit equals 1? Enemy HP. So we got, let's change this here now. So let's add a new value, total dam. And we'll move this here to the total damage. And then this will be total dam. Um, oh, we could just use total dam. Yeah. No. This is just dam val. No, damage value. Damage val. Jesus. There's no reason not to have those be the same variable. That's fine. Um okay, and then we do did we drain equals this. Yeah, so if drain is 0, then this will stay 0, which is why we want these binary checks um, to not use like literal string or like true false, but to be numeric. Because any numeric 0 value just ports itself right through to logic, which is good for us. So we did damage value, we did we drain, we did not do did we crit, we did we hit. Did we crit equals 1. Okay, so did we crit updates? Did we hit updates? Damage value updates? Did we drain updates? Did we status? Does not update, but we don't have status implemented, so that's fine. We're gonna leave this one here as a nothing. Did we status stay 0? I want to get the text to feedback on the screen first. So let's just copy this so that we remember the variable names. This is going to be played as part of the attack animation, I think. Now the awkward thing here is the values will only be displayed for the duration of the attack animation, but maybe that's okay. Do I like that? I don't know if I like that. Because, like, it's weird to see the damage before the attack animation plays, right? Okay. Instance destroy self. Yeah. Okay, I know what to do here, I think. I think we just make another object, which is the feedback. So let's do... We're just going to dump this in... Oops. We're just going to dump this in here as a reminder of the variable. Actually, hold on. Undo that entirely. Let's actually just straight up steal all of that data structure and just keep porting it through the code. It was under the script function. So yeah, we'll drop animation time because that doesn't matter. Wait, why is this indented? Did this matter in any way? Oh, I think because it was indented before? Yeah, it must have been. Okay, that's fine. That's fixed. Put another break in here. Okay, anyway, okay, so an attack animation. Let's remove the extra indentation here. So local variable gets piped through into the new data structure. And then this is going to be fed to a new object. So let's go back here. Instance create depth attack animation. So we can steal this as well, but we want to make a different object with it. Create an object. Feedback. Yeah, okay. That works for me. So this now makes feedback. Okay, so this is created at 0, 0 with a, I think this third one is the depth, right? Yeah, XY depth, minus 100. So this is played very far forward on the screen. Currently this should cause no issues with the current execution. Let's verify. And then I want to think about placement. No, it does break. Why? Set not set before reading. Attack animation create depth. Oh, feedback vars. Um. Uh. Wait. Oh shit! I fucking embedded this accidentally in the if statement. Whoopsies! I broke this syntax here like massively. Um, it should be in there eventually, but putting it inside now is really stupid. Actually, it shouldn't be inside because it introduces the potential for a crash like that. So yeah, this is like a full. This is not a full screen thing, but it is. It is like over here. So close to like a full screen thing. Close enough that it doesn't really matter. Okay. I'm just thinking about like where to display text on the screen so that like other animations don't cover it up necessarily. Yeah, so we'll just like put it over here. So where do we start the HP bar? That's created by the layout function. Under draw. 150. Should be. Okay, feedback. Add event. Create, I think, should work. We'll need a step as well. Okay, we don't need this. Oh, no, we need a draw. I don't think the create necessarily matters. Add event draw. So we're not going to use this structure. I just want to hear for reference. Um, okay, if I don't remember the text thing. Probably still open in my browser. Quiet. Draw text. There we go. Draw text. We said, oh shit, I forgot the value. Oops. Oh no, that data structure can be there. That doesn't really matter. It's not actually gonna cause any code issues. All right. So in theory, okay, you hit. It displays right there. I think it was 1150, right? Yeah, okay. Can I make the text bigger? Draw set font Arial size. Draw set font Arial 28. Let's see what this does. Threat display should always hit. Oh, threat display crashed. Why? Draw set font Arial 28 is not defined. Not set before reading it. Fair enough. Is this not a thing? This function will set the font for all further the name of the font to use. Okay. Okay, it doesn't seem to know what it wants to be. Let's not worry about it. Um, Press that error message. Right, under draw. Draw text, draw text, draw text. Draw text, stamina. Draw text transformed. String int of alarm. Let's take this syntax too. It is a little blurry, of course, but whatever. It's good enough for our purposes of this stage. X scale, Y scale, angle. So I'm thinking 2. So this will just make it twice as big. Theoretically at the expense of resolution. Yeah, that's very ugly. That's hideous. That's actually really ugly. Like, holy shit. 1.5 times? The timer is one thing. That's a whole different beast, because that shit. Well, I don't know why that's so seemingly so much more shit. Okay, yeah, no, this sucks ass. Just awful. Okay, so don't do that. Let's understand font sizes. I've been ignoring it. We should figure it out. How do I enlarge fonts? Global current font Arial. You want to add the font with the size to the resource tree individually for every size you want to use. This is like obtuse. Draw text 3264 large. Draw set size. The improved or finished with certain build up as inspiration. Yeesh. Hmm. Oh, starting large and scaling down seems to be pretty good. Okay, so we need to know how to define the font better. Hmm. Yeah, I don't really get it. Beginning of game initialize a global variable. Yeah, sure. Create two scripts. Global.current font. Okay, what if we just okay. We're gonna go to the lobby. We're gonna run this. All right, this is what the text looks like, right? If I go here and I do global.font and I do that, does that do anything or does it just kill it? That doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah, it doesn't have any impact on anything. So this is not global.current font. Does seem to be a default thing. Okay. Draw set font. Draw set size. Asset get index. If font. Do I need to add a font like to the game itself? Fonts. Fonts are a thing that exist. Interesting. So maybe I need to read more about fonts in Game Maker specifically. Number of functions used to get information. Font add non-standard fonts. Following functions used to change and manipulate fonts during a game. Font get name. Um. Okay, but what does it start as? Doesn't come with any fonts. on your system already? Uh-huh. Okay, this is maybe something we need to think about, but I think I'm gonna stick a pin in it. We're gonna just comment this out. We're just gonna leave that comment there and not worry about it. I just don't understand what the default selection of fonts in the game is exactly in the engine here. I don't know if it's pulling from the system, and I don't know if it's not, and I don't know what my default options are without specifically adding fonts to the game. And at the end of the day, it's really not that important. It's just the thing I was looking at right now, so I became a little fixated on it. But we should not be caring. Okay, so currently this is if did we hit equals 1, draw text, you hit. Let's add a create event actually. Create. Why did that not show up? There we go. Under create. Oh, this actually remembers this was here. Weird. Timer equals 0. Step. Let's steal the timer, the old timer code from here. Timer plus equals 1 over room speed. That's specifically what it's called. Okay, so now the timer is initialized at 0. Once the feedback kicks in, the timer starts counting up. If timer equals 2, 1, let's try 1. Let's see how 1 looks. Oops. So in theory, then this will shut it off after a second. This is not the syntax we actually want to use, but it's good to make sure that the functionality is going to work. Nice. Okay. Do we think that's fast enough to parse? I think so. I'm just thinking about. No, this is fine because this is changing the local version of did we hit. So if we get another attack in before the information is faded from the screen, it doesn't matter because it'll have its own version of did we hit. So we're not cross talking. So this is perfectly fine. If did we hit equals 1, draw text, you hit. I guess we'll put another if statement in here. If did we crit equals 1. Instead, we say you crit. Critical hit. If we hit, we crit. We always only crit when we hit. That should be true. I'll have to check that because that should be a condition. We might not have put that in the script correctly. Let's make sure that functions the way we expect it to. So did we crit? Did we hit? Hit chance, crit. Okay, yeah. So the crit here is calculated separately from whether or not we hit. That shouldn't matter because we should only care if we crit if we hit. Otherwise, nothing happened. Yeah, okay. So it actually takes care of itself. It doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah. So if we hit, if we crit, tell us who crit. Otherwise, just say we hit. Okay. Critical hit. You hit. Then we do if damage val greater than 0. Then we want to move this down by, let's just move it down by 100 for now, and then worry about the spacing later. You did space plus what's the into string thing? I don't remember. Drawn a blank. It's under the layout probably. Okay, it's just literally just string. Same thing as you would do in Python. Okay. You did plus string damage val plus space damage. If else check, if damage value greater than 0, tell us we did damage. We'll just test this now and make sure. Before we go any further, you hit, you did 43 damage. Okay. 220 maybe for the positioning of the damage marker. Okay, 220 is a pretty good gap. You did 19 damage. I wonder. That's fine. If drain val, or did we drain greater than 0? Yeah, we'll just call it stamina damage, HP damage, I guess, for now. So drain val. Okay. I think randomizing slightly the amount of stamina drained is probably a good thing to do, but for now, I'm not going to do that. One thing I want to do here. Let's do. Yeah, on the draw step, new Y. equals 220. This is displayed at new y. And then we do new y plus equals 20. And then if the attack can do stamina damage without doing regular damage. So that's why we want the y position to scale. We might as well increment it here. Okay. Test the feedback again. Charge, missed. Kick. The oh, that crashed. Error, draw event, drain valve not set. Oops, I put drain valve. It's supposed to be, did we drain? I probably should have called this did we damage, because now I already tripped myself up with my syntax once, but I'm not going to go change it. Alright, threat display, 28 stamina damage. Okay, that's off the edge of the screen, though. Set this to 1100. I don't know why the font looks so garbage there. I'm kind of curious about that, because this font up here looks much cleaner than this does. Is it something about the draw specifically that makes it look gross? Okay, that works perfectly with the scaling movement of the text, or the scaling position of the text. Why does the font kind of just look like shit? Do we think it's the scaling of the timer? Maybe. Wait. Isn't that controlled here? Yeah, definitely. I'm blind. Draw text, draw text, draw text transform, yes, here. Okay, so if we take this and we don't transform it, does the text still look kind of gross for some reason? So we just do string int alarm divided, and we kill the last three variables. Okay, so the timer is now tiny, which sucks. Expected, though. No, this still looks weirdly bad. Yeah, why does it look like so fucking bold? I don't understand. All right, let's go back to the big blurry timer. What is different? Draw text, position text. What is different about that? Nothing. Nothing is different about that. Is it because it's a... No, it shouldn't be. This is... No. No. It's not being redrawn. Is it actually? Maybe it is being redrawn. Would it be? If we do this, no, that's equally shit. I don't... Why is this so much shittier than this? These should be generated with the same fidelity, and they're clearly not. Did I break it by defining trying to define the text at some point. Why would that? Hmm. I don't understand why it's dog shit. Hmm. What a mystery. Hmm. I'm extremely confused by this. You would think the text would be identical, and it's just not. Text doesn't change when we go back to the room, does it? Back to the lobby room, I mean? Let's test that. Let's go for the kill. Murder this guy. Beat his ass. Kick him to death. Get up there. Go for a nice devour. Oops, he got away from me. Devour him. We got him pinned. Oh yeah, we need the knockback for close range. No, this text still looks good. Hmm. Well, I mean, it's functional. Do I need to care? Maybe if I literally like reboot Game Maker, it'll be better. Because it could be like a weird, like a kernel-y thing. Should I try that? Maybe we should try that. I'm curious. All right, let's restart Game Maker. And this is a good learning experience. Well, I'm gonna have to resize it probably, but maybe we just do this. No. Uh, Remind me about this update later. Okay, size seems fine. All right, we run the game again. Text is clean. Wait, but if it was a system thing, why would the text be clean on the load screen? No, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Restarting didn't make any sense. What am I doing? I could have used a little bit of logic, and very clearly that's not a thing. Should have tried to mute, did not. Um, Game Maker, some font blurry? No. You see, the problem is blurry font is a general problem with Game Maker. And my issue is that it's certain fonts are blurry. Certain lines are blurry when they're generated for some reason, but others aren't. And so that's a whole different issue than most people are having, but it's completely buried and suppressed beneath everybody else's issues. We're just gonna move on from this. We're not gonna worry about the feedback being a little gross looking. All right, so let's implement our status effects. So I think I might want to do a new function. Maybe even nested functions, honestly. Let's think about that. Because this is starting to get complex enough that like I don't need to be adding to this particular function. If we keep building up one singular function, we're actively undermining the point of using a function. Okay, so passing through attacker is probably good. We want basically the attacker, the status effect, and the scale of the effect. Now, are we already passing these into this under other names? Do status. Oops. Oh my god, please stop. Just let me scroll up here. Thank you. The attacker, the name, defender, EV, accuracy, damage, and defense. No, so these don't get passed currently. So we need to retrieve the values. All right, banned them. Getting used to that now. Spamming's real fucking bad on Twitch right now. So I guess all we want here is actually the name in the attacker. So name to attacker. And then we need to fetch the info internally. So we do this. And these are called in our attack dictionary, which is here. Effect and scale. Oh, and duration. Effect, scale, duration. Effect, scale, duration. So let's just keep the syntax. Effect, scale, duration. Effect, scale, duration. So first thing, I think we should be able to filter this by effect. So like devour, effect, life drain, stagger, weaken, effect none. So none is our none condition, obviously. So if effect does not equal none, show debug message effect for now. And then we want to nest do status inside of the main attack function. Probably just Okay. No, we want to do this outside of this. Okay. Um, yeah, okay. We do this. We go. Hmm. Thinking about other things. Okay, so I want to add something here. I want to add the chance of applying a status effect because right now these are coded guarantee. Effect life drain, skill duration, chance 100. Chance on hit of applying status. We'll make this like a 50%er. Paralytic, I think should be 100. Kick does no effect. We still need chance in here though, which we can default as 100. That's fine. Effect fear from threat display. 100% hit guarantees the stamina drain, but then we can make the chance of applying the status effect non 100, like a 75% chance maybe. Charge is movement based. Fishhook bleeds. I think fishhook bleeding is kind of the point. So 100% chance of bleed. Snap does nothing. Death roll effect requires bleed. Right. Uh, I don't like this. I think we're gonna change this. Let's make this a new thing. Effect none. Condition. Condition requires bleed. Weaken. Let's make this like 30% chance. Cleanse. Cleanse is fine as a status effect. Yeah. Because the status effect doesn't have to be persistent. That doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. Condition after crit. I don't think the ordering matters in any way, but we might as well follow it for our own sanity. I mean, I'm pretty confident the order doesn't matter in any way within the struct, but We have effect, we have a scale, we have duration, we have chance. Chance is, no, do status is going to specifically apply the status if it happens. So we should default, yeah, no, we should default it to 0. Let's just get the chance in here. Yeah, it's much easier to do this if we actually do default it to 0, not 100. So attack dictionary. Oops. Oh my god. No. Okay. Please, sir. Okay, condition none. Chance 0. Condition none. Chance. No. Effect stagger. Effect. Yes. Oops. Life drain. Stagger. Weaken. None. This one is 0. Chance is 0. Effect fear. Effect none. Chance is not here. Wait, I missed this one entirely? Oh my god. Well, that's not good. Okay, maybe that's the only one we missed. Nope. Oh, maybe I didn't put it on the ones that actually didn't have anything? Huh. Concerning. Duration 0, chance 100, requires bleed. This actually becomes 0. This is no longer a status effect. This is a conditional activation. Chance 30 weaken. Cleanse chance 100. Yeah. Okay, that's good to go. So what we can do now is in the attack script, we generate the chance roll in the same way we generate the hit roll, which is random range and then integer. I don't know why I did this on 2 lines originally, but fuck it. Chance roll equals int of random range. Unless this glitched out by having nested functions like this, but it shouldn't. Like, this should be perfectly fine. Yeah. Okay, then if we hit do the train, and then we do if chance roll. Let's copy the hit syntax exactly so they round in the same way. If hit 2 less than hit chance. That's what we did here. Chance roll less than chance. Do status. Name to an attacker. Just copy paste this. Over that. Attacker. Yeah. Okay, and same deal here, it should be. Why is this... Oops. Why is this function or an internal section shorter? Crit mod, damage render there, D-dam. Did we hit? Right, because the feedback. So this doesn't matter. Damage calc. Damage value. Play HP adjustment, yes. Stamina adjustment, yes. More feedback. If chance roll. Oops. Did we status equals 1? Did we status is more complicated? I don't think we set it in here. I think we set it internally as an array. Inside of the do status function. Did we status equals boom. Effect scale duration array. Yeah, because it'd be like apply bleed 4 for 10 seconds, for instance. If effect does not equal none is still a good safety check here. In case we do make a mistake, this will still abort the status check. So I suppose that's fine. Yeah, otherwise it could be a crash. It's probably not a bad idea to circumvent a potential crash if you can. Okay, so yeah, my feedback worked. Ooh, that was a good 1-2 hit. We almost that was like a 3-tap on the baryonyx there. That was nice. That was a great like early rush. The charge to close the gap into the paralytic bite. I'm pretty happy with the way the attack engine is looking. It's like looking how I want it to look, you know, like mechanically, right? The combo potential, the big swings connecting, very exciting. Okay, so we're affecting correctly the effect, the scale, and the duration. Chance is resolved, so we know whether or not the status effect is applied. Do we? Hold on. No, we definitely do. Random range, converted to an integer. Chance. Yeah, because this is stored. This is stored as an integer value. Gonna double check, but this should be fine. Yeah, everything is stored as integers, including the chance. Great. Okay. Correct. Correct. Everything works the way it's expected and oughta. Good. Good. Okay. So this debug message is irrelevant. Let's suppress it. Okay. If effect equals life drain. Let's see if that's the syntax in the dictionary. I think we'll just start at the top of the dictionary and program the status effects as we go. So first one is life drain, capital L, capital D, space included. Scale 0.5. Okay. Ooh. I know an even better way to do this. The feedback that is. Did we status this? Nah, fuck this shit. Let's just comment this out. If effect equals life drain. Oh, we need to pass through the damage here. The damage val, comma, damage val. Okay, damage val. If effect is life drain, we take the scale, we multiply the damage val, we scale the player HP. Integer 64 value. Do we need that integer value? Yes, because this could be 50%. So it has to round some way, and the integer value will take care of that without us particularly caring if it's rounding up or down. So player HP plus equals int scale damage. And then did we status now becomes a string that describes what just happened. Drained blank plus string eval, which we'll generate in a second. Drained blank HP. And then this here, this becomes the deval. Deval equals this. Okay. So did we status is now updated by this function. Ooh, no, this is... All right, fuck it. Make it a global. Who cares? I just do this. Global.didWe status equals 0. Probably. Okay, so now this becomes this. Did we status global.didWe status? So this is passed here now by this function. There's probably like a function return. It might be better. Let's learn return. Return value. Okay. So if we do that instead, but you can only have one return. But presumably if they're within different if conditions, it shouldn't matter. Yeah, okay. Return did we status equals the string. Did we status is did we status. And then did we status is did we status. Fuck the global. We don't need to make that a global variable. That could just fuck things up later. If this follows Pythonic syntax, it should just be did we status equals. Okay, and then we want to go to the feedback object. And now when we draw everything else, we want to add another if statement. If did we status does not equal 0, draw text, new y, did we status. Sure. Did it work? So this will only work with Devour, so that's the move we gotta test. Devour should 100% always. Okay, we didn't get any display there. Oh, because it missed. Duh. Yeah, obviously. It always drains, but it has to hit first. Missed again. Damn it! Carnotaurus, you need to eat him. Take a big bite out of him so we can see if this works, you piece of shit. You did HP damage, you did stam damage. It did not work. It didn't work, but it didn't crash. Did we status 0? Did we status? Did we status? Does not equal 0. Wait, why? Am I not passing it? No, I should be passing it. Return did we status? Show debug. Did we status? Zero. Okay, so did not update. Did we status? Okay. Name to attacker and damage value. Where's the disconnect? So, did we status did not update, but the chance roll did happen correctly. So let's just parse where this went wrong. This might actually crash because I think I put the message in the wrong spot technically, but that'll tell me anyway what's happening. So that's a miss. Back them down. Oh my God. Yeah, it should crash the game when I connect, I think. Unless the debug message is not... No, it doesn't crash. Okay, I mean, so this works. Oh, do we see a heal effect on the Carno? Because there's nothing to stop him from going above max. We should say his HP jump if the Devour effect is being applied. Which I think it is, right? It's probably just not being passed through correctly. Yeah, 124, 105. Okay, that works. So let's put a comment here. Need to cap at max HP. So it's something with the return statement. Function. Let's read this. You may use the return statement, yada, 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 use blah, 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 blah. To call the function, use it the same way, runtime functions. Yeah, it shows right here. Write the function name with the parameter value in parentheses. So the above function would be called like this. Function square calc value, square calc. Unless you can't return a string? This is a value. 0 if it fails. This should be right. Okay, that's still returning 0. What if we do this? Return 1. Damn it. Unless it doesn't like that I put the code inside to generate the string in the return statement. Maybe that's not valid. That worked. That returned a 1. Let's do show debug message out. Make sure there's not some sort of error with that. I mean, maybe return is like defaulting to displaying a string as a 0. Okay, well that's at 0, 0. So yeah, what the fuck? Show debug message out. Out equals, oops. Oh. Oh, I had double equals. Oh, I see the problem. Oh my god, dude. What a shitty mistake. I'm stupid. Yeah, because I left this syntax here for when we were updating the global variable. But now that I'm returning this, this is just this. I left the variable equals part in there because I'm a fucking dipshit. Classic coding mistake of spending a bunch of time trying to figure out why this thing you don't quite aren't quite familiar with in this syntax isn't working, and it turns out it's just because you're dumb. Yeah, during 25 HP. You're dumb and you put something in the wrong spot. So you're spending all this time figuring out why return, like trying to figure out why return doesn't work. And it's because I just have a fucking syntax error right next to it. It's not return's fault. It's me writing other stuff wrong. Okay, so that works. We should probably do the max HP cap. So we should have a max HP already recorded. 0.player o player HP. This is stored under the lobby, maybe. Global.pc.hp. Let's just look here. When we do the layout, player HP.hp, player HP.max HP. O player HP.max HP. So if we just go to the attack function and then we do this. If O dot player HP plus D val greater than O dot player max HP, O dot player HP equals O dot player max HP. Else, we take this value as it exists, and that works. Return drain string deval HP. So yeah, we could leave this alone. That's probably fine. Like you drained 20 HP, but you only needed to heal 10, so you only healed 10. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this alone. We could make this better, tell you the actual amount you healed, but who cares? Okay, life drain implemented. Let's make some extra spaces here. No. Back. So every effect we add to the game has to be implemented here as another if statement, at least the way we're doing this currently. If effect equals next effect in the attack dictionary is staggers. What were staggers? I think that was supposed to be a stun. Yeah, stagger's like a stun. So this is staggering scale 1, duration 3. The scale of the stagger doesn't matter. Only the duration does. So, so this one's going to be a little more complicated. This is one's a genuine status effect rather than a triggered effect. So if effect equals stagger, so this should adjust the enemy in some way. Let's think about this. Apply stagger. Apply stagger duration to target. Target can't move or attack. Duration. So this needs to be a global variable that updates, counts down, and blocks movement or attacking while it's applied. So we need to decide where we store that. Because right now, yeah, right now most things are being stored and starting in the lobby. And really, the sprites here, the objects for the attackers, don't actually contain much information beyond movement information, which is what this matters for. And then positioning. So I think we just add to, after cooldown, we add staggered equals 0, or staggered colon 0, comma. So staggered toggle begins at 0. Staggered begins at 0. Then we go in the attack. All we have to do here is simply, if effect is stagger. Oh, if effect is life drain. We need to do something else here, actually. Because this only applies to us attacking. And attacker equals how do we find this? Attacker is defined. We're coding in status effects on our attacks. So we coded in life drains already. Now we're coding in stuns. Staggers, as I'm going with calling them currently. We worked out all the bugs from the end of last stream. So that was great. We added attack feedback information. So now when you attack, you get to know how much damage you did, if you hit, if you crit, if your bonus effects applied. If attacker is player, if attacker is enemy. Okay, player and enemy, lowercase p, lowercase e. So if attacker equals player, and this one should be if life drain and attacker equals enemy. And then this should be enemy HP, yeah. Enemy HP. Enemy HP. Enemy. I'll show you what we've done because we're going to have to test this out anyway. Enemy, 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 enemy. Good. Yes, that should be it. So we're going to go up next to him. We're just going to click devour until we hit and see if it works. No. Why do we crash? Unknown object not set. Effect. Oh, I didn't do strings. Whoopsies. Whoopsie doodles. Yeah, these are strings. Enemy player. I was piping through a variable into the function that doesn't exist, so obviously it crashed. So yes, now we come up here, we hit devour. Yeah, you did 34 damage, drain 5 stamina. Yeah. 1 second, not enough time to read all that. And we did not gain excess HP. Cool. Undefined. Wait, what? You did stamina damage undefined. Right. Hold on, we gotta fix that. That is connected to the feedback object. If did we status greater than or equal to 0 does not equal 0. Did we just... Why is it undefined? Oh, I know why it's undefined. Because that has a status effect we haven't coded in. Yeah, no. If we do kick, it shouldn't have it undefined. That's just because we haven't finished coding the functions. Yeah, kick doesn't say undefined. No, it works perfectly fine. It's correct. Great. Okay, so yes, stagger. So stagger is going to be, shit, what was it? Enemy. Wait, what was it? Or what was I calling it? It was dot staggered, but it's in the lobby. Global dot en dot staggered. Global dot player dot staggered. Global dot en dot staggered. Then this, we just pipe through the duration to this. That's all that matters here is the duration. Global.en.stagger equals the duration. And then let's duplicate the effect for enemy and player. Oops. If effect is stagger and attacker equals enemy, then this is just global.pc. Did we actually check if the feedback worked for the drain? I don't remember now. Okay, yeah, drain 16 HP. Even though we don't gain any because we're at max. Perfect. Okay. And then we need the return. Staggered for duration seconds. So staggered for 3 seconds, essentially, is what that's saying there. Okay. And this was headbutt. Okay, so yeah, headbutt doesn't guarantee the stagger, so we failed the chance to stagger there with the headbutt. Let's try it again when it comes off cooldown. It was straight up a miss. Staggered for 3 seconds. Cool. Okay, so yeah, the feedback works. So this is done. Now we need to apply the stagger to the enemy. So we've told the enemy it's staggered, but the enemy doesn't know what that does. One thing I want to do before we do that, I want to pop over here to feedback and I want to adjust the duration. If timer, let's go to 1.5 seconds on the text display. Let's set if timer is greater than 1.5, that because if it's set to be exactly equal, that's really bad actually, because that can break. All this only displays if we hit. And then this sets did we hit to 0 to this stop drawing the text. Do we care what happens to the other variables? We don't, because the object is... Do we destroy this? We should destroy this, because right now this might be a hanging thing that's just sitting there. Instance create depth attack animations. Attack animation. Instance create depth feedback. Instance destroy self. So I think what we just do is we go to feedback. If timer, we actually just kill this. Right? This doesn't exist until we call it. So this, we don't want to leave these, or it's technically a memory leak. It's like the tiniest itty bitty baby memory leak ever because it doesn't recursively call itself, but it's kind of technically a memory leak. Like very vaguely. It's probably best to just do this. So it means we don't need the did we hit equals 0, but might as well leave it in there. Let's make sure that doesn't do anything weird. We can just threat display, which always hits. Stamina damage. Yeah, okay. Fine. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. It kind of looks like it fades out, doesn't it? Maybe that's why the text is fucky. Maybe it is being duplicated. Why would it be duplicated? Unless the draw event is happening multiple times. Or it's being fired multiple times? Where is it? Okay, let's look at where feedback is being called from again. So feedback is being called from the attack animation. So you attack creates the attack animation creates this. Oh yeah, stepwise, instant create depth feedback. Wait. If this is supposed to be. That's why it looks weird. It is being done every step. It's being done 60 times a fucking second. This should just start here, right before this destroys itself. Okay. We sorted that out. Bug fixed. This is going to look normal now, or crash. But it should look normal. Or not happen at all? Oh, no, it did happen. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, it's too quick. Also, it gets weird when the other attack is going. Yes. Right. That had some. I kind of liked the way it worked before. It just looked bad. Let me think about this. So we kick. That's missed. I guess it should also say miss if we miss. You hit, you do 39 damage, and then it fades out. I'm curious, when does the so the damage is applied immediately at the start of the animation. The text isn't displayed till the end of the animation. It kind of feels counterintuitive. It wouldn't matter if the animation is a full screen animation and you don't see the HP bar during it. It's fine. Okay. Let me. Okay, hold on. Let's add feedback for misses actually here. Oh, except it's tied to the animation, which only plays if. Wait, no, it plays in general. If hit. Wait, does it? Yeah. Yeah, because we create the attack animation specifically here. So everything gets updated. We create this. This is past VARs. This knows if we hit. Yeah, okay. So we just add an else statement. That's all we do. Else. You missed. Okay. So I want to spam kick and see how much these conflict with each other as they're set up currently. Kick, you missed, you missed, you missed, you hit, you missed, you hit, missed. Yeah, okay. So they stack up and it becomes a weird thing. Everyone resets. Um, do we think it's worth the effort to do anything with that? Probably not. I mean, there's a limit to how much you can spam even a move with no cooldown. We could just add a cooldown to everything. Like, Kick could just have like a 1 second cooldown and not be instantly spammable. Like a 1 second cooldown is essentially nothing anyway. It just gives time for the message to go. Hmm. I don't think I want it to not. I think it being spammable is good because I think what I want to do long term is make it so that, well, it's going to be like input, like just if you get it in before they decide to attack. No, yeah, I'm probably not going to implement anything more than that. Make it non-spammable, then it's definitely going to be more turn-based because you would have to switch attacks to do back-to-backs. Okay, removing the cooldown doesn't fix anything because you could just click a different attack. And it would also overwrite the display text. I don't think it matters. I think we can just have the text conflict for now, and we can worry about fixing that later. We could just do a global, like a global new Y would actually do it. The only thing would be we'd have to have some function to like reset it so that text isn't continuously moving down the screen. Something we could do. I don't think we're gonna do it right now. Let's do the staggered thing. Um, let's finish that up. How are we doing here on time? We are 2.5 hours in. Okay, so the movement, right? So per step, decision to move. Um, Inner bound, outer bound, decision, unit speed. If global PC dot attacking speed equals 0, else speed equals unit speed. If global dot PC attacking or global dot en dot staggered greater than 0. So this should inherently force speed to 0 every second, every fractional second, if they are staggered. And then we want some connection. We need this to be Oh, here's a problem, right? This is defined here in lobby layout. Oh, but that's fine. Yeah, no, the timer can go anywhere. Like, we could just put the timer here on the enemy. That's probably fine. I don't hate that idea. So per step. So this just global.en.staggered. Actually, we need this if check if greater than 0. Global.en.staggered greater than 0. I don't think I want to do this here. Yeah, no, we don't want to do this here. No, 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 no. We want a new object, I think. Status handler. Um, each step, go with code. If if global.en.staggered. Uh-oh. Did I do stagger instead of staggered in here? This is staggered. Staggered. Why was stagger showing? I don't... Real any. Why? Oh, is it being set in the attack script like that? Do status. Staggered for duration, global.pc.stagger equals duration. Yes. Right, because it's a number. So stagger, not staggered, I think is the better, more reflective of what it do. Stagger. Stagger. And then enemy does not move if stagger. And then the status handler, global.en.stagger greater than 0. Global.en.stagger minus equals 1 over what was it? It was the thing. It was the timer. Wait, did I delete it? Room speed. That's it. If global en.stagger is greater than 0, global en.stagger minus 1 equals room speed. Minus equals 1 over room speed. So yeah, that'll tick down per frame. So if it's 3, then it reaches 0 in 3 seconds. And then the other stuff triggers. However, we need to account for fractional values. So I think all we do is if global en.stagger is less than 0, set it to 0, which is probably a good habit to be in. But then we duplicate this code for the player character too. Okay, then we need to add that to the room. Battle room. Object status handler, just chuck it out in there. Escalate Bladens layer can't cancel. Wait, which layer is this guy in? Do I care? Oh, instances 2. Okay, we'll put him in with the layout, I guess. Might be a little weird having those different ones, but I'm not going to worry about it. Hopefully, there's not some weird hiccup that comes from that. Definitely just a mistake in production, but it shouldn't really matter. Okay, so he won't move when he's staggered. Staggers count down. If the staggers go under 0, they reset to 0. Great. So the next thing to do would be the player movement. Shut that off if we're staggered. If global PC is attacking, or global.pc.stagger greater than 0. Speed is forced to 0. If X in direction, if enemy direction. Yes. We shouldn't need to do anything on the key presses. The key presses reset the speed, but that's fine. That should work. Hard one to test. I guess we get the thing. We get a connection. Okay, he's staggered. He froze in place for maybe 3 seconds. I'm not convinced. I didn't seem like 3. Um At some point, we should smooth out the movement a little bit so that you don't stop moving when the attack animation happens and have to re-hit the key. I know how to do that. Let's just make a note here for myself for a future point. Make this a movement toggle so it can transfer after attack anim is done without re-hitting key. Okay. I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'm about to start hacking. Okay. I mean that should work. We have no way to test this on the player character currently, because the baryonyx doesn't stun. Also, we don't have any enemy AI made anyway, so we just leave this. I guess we just run it, make sure it doesn't crash on us. $53, $52, $51. Well, I don't think he got... No, he did get connected. I don't think he got stunned, though, because the stun has a chance. Oh, maybe the stun starts during one... Okay, missed. Maybe the stun starts during the attack animation, not after. I think it does. It absolutely does. Right? That's the problem. That's why it feels short, because it is. Um right? Let's look at this. Do status function is called in here before the animations happen. Yes. Okay. Wait, we should have stuff to control this essentially, and not global.pc attacking. Also, it's global.pc attacking and not global.enemy attacking. So if we just copy this, this should fix it. So we just go into status handler. If this and global.pc attacking and not global.pc attacking. Yeah. Right? No, not there. No, yes, there. Yeah. Then if we ever introduce a global dot enemy attacking value, then we can also fix it for that. Right? If you have a stagger value greater than 0 and time is ticking down, PC dot stagger minus equals starts ticking. That should feel like 3 seconds now. Because we're losing like half the duration during the animation. Yeah, okay, that's about 3 seconds. That's pretty good. Great. So that works. Okay, so the other effect here is it stops you from attacking. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to go to the layout and we want to set global.pc.stagger to be like 10 seconds. That's how we bug check this. On creation, global.pc.stagger. That's set to 5 seconds. Now if we just run this, we shouldn't be able to move until the timer hits 55. And now we can move. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're beginning the battle staggered right now. Is a test. So next thing we want to do is the attack buttons. If distance sub 400, sprite index is now 5. This is the condition that turns these green, right? Sprite 5. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, green. So the only way they're green is if we're not staggered and global.pc.stagger is 0. Wait, did I do shit? I might have put a not. Yeah, I definitely did a not stagger somewhere, which is a problem. Was that under the player character? I mean, it might actually not be a problem. Oh, not attacking. Yeah. Okay, no, I think I was thinking of the attacking thing. That's fine. Okay, so now while we're staggered, we should never see the buttons light up. We can't really check that. Let's set the duration longer. Let's set the duration to be 50. Fuck it. So now we can't move. We're just watching the baryonics get close and seeing that the buttons don't light up. Okay, it takes about 10 seconds to close the gap. So let's set this to be like 15. Then we should see at 45 seconds the buttons turn on, i.e. turn green. Sick. Cool. Welcome back, Connor B. How's it going? We're making good progress. We should make sure. We should definitely make sure that we can't actually hit a button. Oh, we can. We absolutely can attack. We're just the color is being changed currently. Yeah. Okay. So the current action is left released, if distance, if range. Yeah, so we just want to do this and global if distance and global pc.stagger. Wait, greater than 0. Wait, did I put equals 0? Somewhere I wasn't supposed to? Shit. Oh yeah, no, because with this should be equals 0 to have the button be green. The button is valid when you're not staggered, and then this is what happens when the button is clicked. If the distance is correct, and no, this should also be 0. Yeah, no, it was right before. This is essentially the same check that controls the color of the button, but has to be simply on a different. This is connected to the button press specifically. So this has to be on this window. Okay, and then if we go to the layout and we reset the stun. No, let's leave the stun at 15 seconds. So, we're stunned for 15 seconds. We cannot move. He's getting close. None of these buttons do anything. Yep, we're still stunned. Still stunned. Boom, we can kick his ass. Get him. Go to town. Beat his ass. Kick. All right, anyway. Okay. So that should be everything. The stun mechanic should be fully implemented for both sides. Comment that out. So it would be nice to implement status effect icons and timers. I don't think we do that today. That could be something to do another time. Because I probably should make the icons. We also might want to do like we do with the cooldowns. Let's look at the cooldown sprite, right? We have all these different frames for this crude, disgusting sprite that show it, progressing through time. So we might want an analogous thing, but for some sort of other shape for each of the status effects to show the duration that remains on them. I think that would be what you want to do. So we'll leave that alone. That can be a nice all-in-one project once we have all these implemented. So let's implement the next status effect. In the attack dictionary, the next one is weaken. Okay. So weaken is just reducing damage and defense. So yes. So if we go to this script, if effect is weaken, so let's just duplicate all this code. Effect equals weaken. Let's do weaken, not weekend. The weaken plus string of scale plus boom, boom. Yeah, so weaken X. Oh, I didn't do the. I missed the weaken plus weaken scale plus. Yeah, so weaken X for X seconds. Good. So this becomes global.en.weak, global.pc.weak. Let's do week time and then week just as week. Dot week equals scale. So week and week time. That should be enough here. So now we got to go to the lobby. We need to add these to the data structures. Week 0, week time 0. How do we define the scale of the weak effect here in the attack? Um, Paralytic Bite kind of feels like it should maybe be a stagger rather than a weaken effect. Well, no, because conceptually it's not supposed to fully paralyze you. It's just supposed to slow you down. Um, yeah, actually, the thing I'm actually more grieved about here is fear. Well, anyway, um, scale 4, duration 15, 1 through 5, question mark. Yeah, okay. So I think weaken should damage the accuracy and evasion. Actually, maybe it shouldn't be weaken. How about just call it paralysis? Making it harder to evade and dodge. Weaken can be attack def, which is what we're doing. And then fear, conceptually, I think I like better is plus stamina cost. So if you apply fear to a target, it costs them more to attack, which makes sense, right? They have to work up more nerve to attack you because they're afraid of you. That doesn't change the effect of any of the attacks as written. Well, except for this, it does, because weaken is now paralysis. which even matches the description better. A weak attack that paralyzes, not a weak attack that weakens. Fear on start display, and then this had weaken on tail slap. Yeah, this could still be weaken. Okay, yeah, then we get all the things in play. Okay, then I guess we go to. Okay, so we're gonna do paralysis, not weaken. They're like clones of each other. They're like the same thing. We'll do them both actually, because they literally are just counterparts. It's probably easier to do them at the same time. I think we're gonna finish these up and then call it for the stream as well, because my tummy is starting to feel not great. Probably should eat something. So weaken and paralysis. Paralysis, 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 paralysis. Para time. Para. Para time and para. Para time, para time, week time, week time. Okay. Yes. And then we go to layout. No, lobby layout. Para and para time added alongside week and week time. To both. Then we'll go do the status handler object. Continue adding the effects here. If global global.pc.week time greater than 0 and not attacking. Which should be here too. Oh, no, just kidding. Yeah, because this is the set it to 0 condition. Just kidding. Yes. And this, we do, oops. Global.pc week time greater than 0. Global.pc, that's the same cooldown. Probably a better way to structure this, but it's fine. I mean, there's definitely a better way to structure this. You would have these nested inside a data struct, and then you'd have the labels, and then you would just iterate over the loop. But I don't care. The difference is not terribly important to processing speed. And they have different effects. So this allows me to be slightly more organized in that I keep like the stagger stuff together and then the weakness stuff together, so on and so forth. So if the weak time is greater than 0 and this becomes minus. But then we want to do, let's make some space here. So if global.pc.week time is less than or equal to 0, this is where weak is different than stagger. Global.pc.week pc.week time, force it to 0 in case it was below 0, and then global.pc.week equals 0. Okay, yeah, that's all we have to do there. I do need these though. Global.en. Wait, did I just, what did I just do? I think okay, I just deleted it. I was like, what happened? Okay, so yes. The timer, update the timer. If timer is less than or equal to 0, set it to 0. Remove the weak value. Same thing but for the enemy. And then we can duplicate all of this. But then everywhere that we have weak, we put para. Okay, so we've fully implemented weakness and paralysis wearing off and weakness and paralysis value, like level parameter, whatever you want to call it, tracking. So now we need to apply the actual effect. So this is a status modifier. So we go to the attack function in the script, I guess. Probably the best way to handle this. Not to actually affect the direct values. Because then we'd have to introduce a new variable to remember what they were and like adjust them, so on and so forth. So I think we do chance doesn't change. Damage range doesn't change. Crit chance is not changing. If hit versus hit chance. Wait, where's hit chance? Oh, right here. So hit chance. Yeah, let's parse this before the resolve attack. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So that's here. Here and here. Okay, so we do this. New dam equals new let's do current PC dam. Current and def. Current. This is actually so good that the attack resolution is specifically what the function is. By making the function the attack resolution and not the entire attack handling, we can parse what the current attribute values are and feed them to the function instead of having to do it internally everywhere it comes up. So I inadvertently made this really nice. Current PC AC, current en eva, and we don't have the enemy AI coded yet at all, so the counterparts to these don't exist anywhere, so we can worry about that later. So this becomes global.pc.dam. This becomes current PC dam, current, I guess yeah, let's do this, 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 and this. Current enemy evasion. Minus global dot en dot para which will be 0 if you're not debuffed. So damage and defense are weak. Accuracy and evasion are paralysis. And obviously, these are PC debuffs, and these are also PC debuffs. Okay, and then this scale is a 1 through 5. So if I times it by 10, it would cap out at 50%, which is probably too aggressive. I think 25% is sufficient. And we should be done. They should be fully implemented. That's all it takes. It's a simple debuff. So if we want to test this, we do show debug message. I am going to be doing the evasions. We want to see global.en.evasion, comma, global dot, or current en evasion. And this was paralytic bite. Okay, no syntax errors. So we're going to hit paralytic bite until we get the debuff trigger, which is guaranteed on connection. We missed. Evasion value is 90, which is the base. Missed again. It's only showing me the one readout. Dude, I can't hit him. He's the chosen one. Okay. Crashed. Global variable en attacking. Not set. Oh. Wait, what? Status handler en attacking. Let's do this on separate lines in case this is weird. All right, we're going to fix this and then we're done with the stream. A little bit shorter than my usual 4 hours I want here, but we're close enough. That was the status handler that bugged out. Oh yeah, wait. Yeah, I changed these and I shouldn't have. I don't know why I even did. Because I changed all the other globals. Okay. So now I should see 290s when I click paralytic bite if it misses. Yeah, 290s. $90 paralyzed for 4 seconds. 90-70. So, okay, is that correct? Paralyze triggered. 90-70 on the return. So this is a paralysis 4 level? Is that what I gave this attack? Probably. Skill 4. Yep. So this cuts his evasion and accuracy by 20. Oh, shoot. This is out of 1,000, though. Not out of 100. I was thinking percentage. Well, even percentage we wouldn't want to do. Because base attacks scale up to 1,000. Or base stats. Right, I want this to be a percentage, not a raw value. Yeah. Okay. So this is all fine though. This doesn't matter. Show debug did we status. Suppress that. Yeah, so this worked, but these should be proportional. So this is one plus one minus, right? And then times. No, but kind of. Okay, yeah. So these values are multiplied by the debuff, and the debuff, this should be multiplied by 1 when this is 0. And then when this is 4, we should be at 80% of the maximum value. So this should be 0.8 when this is 4, so this should be... Okay, wait. Every step is 0.05. Yeah. Okay. Right. This was a case of me actually having the effect known. Like I knew I wanted this proportional, not a solid value, then I forgot what I was doing, essentially. Okay, paralytic bite miss. Paralytic bite connects, going to the headbutt. Oh, I suppressed the bug checks. Fuck. Okay, one more test. $90.90. We connected. 90.72. And if we pop into the calculator, that should be 80%. 0.8, 72 over 90. Perfect. Do we need a rounding effect? Doesn't matter. Do I integerize this? Whoops. The insert key that I accidentally tapped. Let's think about this. Global dot. This is a solid stat. I probably want to integerize this. Yeah, let's just do it. Int 64. Introducing rounding here is not a problem. So we should do it and stay integers where we expect integers to be. Okay. I think we're good to go. We'll run it one more time. We'll get one more paralysis off and then hit some other attacks. Okay, missed the paralysis. Missed the paralysis. So like the combo here with the Carno is probably to go paralytic bite into the headbutt. But then just start spamming kicks. That's probably like the brutal combo. Because you get the paralysis, drop his evasion down, and then you can connect with the headbutt for the stun. Then he's like wide open for you to just kick the shit out of him. Unless I miss 3 paralytic bites in a row, and then I just get fucked. I mean, I would be hitting other buttons here normally, but we're trying to test this. Dude, 4 in a row missed? Brutal. We're just gonna start over. If you want the full thing, you like charge in to close the gap, and then you paralytic bite, and then you headbutt to go backwards into spamming kicks and see if he just dies. I actually really like that the Carno is like this like 1-2-3 punch combo guy, which is what I was going for a little bit. The berry is a little more like tactical. Set bleeds, unlock your big attack. Come on, dude. Did I fuck the accuracy check up somehow? Is this just bad luck? Devour missed. Headbutt missed. Wait, did I actually fuck it up? Oh, maybe it's the accuracy check is getting set to 0. I think so. Wait, what did I do? Integer 64 of global dot player accuracy times 1 minus this. Wait, did I break this? I can't be that unlucky. Wait, but it was working before. All I did was make it an integer. That shouldn't matter. Current PC accuracy. It also doesn't affect the overall accuracy check, only the accuracy value. 80. Miss. Okay, that hit. I think I just got like a really bad streak of luck. Dude, it missed again. Wait, what the fuck? Am I crazy? Something's fucked. Why can I not hit this? Wait, what? I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. Nothing I changed here makes any difference to anything. Like, we're not even applying a debuff. What is happening? Okay, pass through attacker accuracy. Defender evasion. Hit chance is hit times accuracy value divided by defense value. Which is like 8/9 or whatever. The fuck? I mean, threat display like always hits. Threat display bypasses accuracy checks. It's missed too many times. There's like no shot, right? Did I fuck up the effect? The accuracy somehow? Like, how did this happen? The debug message. Hit 2. But we were hitting shit earlier. I wasn't messing around in this function. I don't understand. $22 and $53. That hit. That's a miss. 19 and 0. $84 and 0. $80, $84, 0. Yeah, it's being forced to 0. On all the wait, all the slot 1 attacks are 0. Wait, what the fuck? What did I do? Oh, because this is only in here. Hold on. 1 minus... This is... Yeah, but we're showing that this is not 0. Wait, what the fuck? Global.PC damage, global.en defense, accuracy, invasion, name 2, player. Now we've replaced it with this calculation. Takes the energy value of the player damage times this modulator, which is these are zeros. We know it's a number. Why does this not work? Show hit 2, show hit chance. Hit chance became 0. Global.attacks, name 2, hit. Okay, so something's broken, and yeah, this is broken. It became a forced 0 somehow. Attacker accuracy, defender evade, and global.attacks hit value. I am flummoxed. $80, $90, $40. Or debug message hit chance. Yeah, hit chances is 0. Why is it? But that doesn't make any sense. Is it? Wait, is it literally because I made these integer values? Like, are they? Is the product forced to be in, that doesn't make any sense either. That is, because this is less accurate. It's forcing itself to 0. Wait, that's insane. Why does a game maker work that way? I guess the data type, I guess it's just set up to preserve the data type. Hmm. Okay, so that's definitely what this is. We learned a very important thing here from this bug. This is actually very consequential. Like the thing we said of, well, we might as well make a thing we expect to be an integer. Apparently a death trap. Only integer the final value. Missed. It's not weird yet. Headbutt miss. Devour miss. We did it! We hit him. We hit him. We hit him. We hit him. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay. It literally couldn't hit if we didn't fix the code. We just had bad luck on the first 3 hits. Yeah, now he's fucking paralyzed. Get in there. Charge his ass. Boom. Okay, cool. Okay, so this all goes to every slot in place of resolve attack. Yes. And then we're done. Resolve attack. Resolve attack. Make sure that they work, I guess, before I forget what I did. Charge. Connects. Cool. Kick. Kick him more. Kick him more. Kick him more. Look at the critical hit. Sick. Okay, cool. Okay, well, that's going to be it for the stream. We actually did end up closer to 4 hours than not. So that's great. Yep, I guess that's it. Pretty happy with the progress. Doesn't look like much, but implementing text pop-ups and status effects are pretty big check marks on my list of objectives to complete for the combat engine. We are well on our way to finishing the combat engine, which is a huge milestone. The big thing's going to be coding the enemy AI, but we've been writing all the status effects and all this other combat engine stuff along the way with the intention of it integrating with the enemy AI. So really the only thing we should have to do is write up the code for the enemy, making sure their attacks are valid, and then the code for the enemy selecting the attacks. And that's it. I'm okay with having a pretty mediocre, rubbish AI to start with too, so we don't need to get too involved with it. So yeah, I'll catch everybody in the future. Next stream is Sunday GWE2. I would like to finish the Jurassic World Park build on Sunday, but I think that's impossible.